Hello, dear listener, and welcome to Sleepy Facts. I'm glad you've drifted here tonight, settling into a quiet moment all your own. Wherever you are, whatever the hour, this is a space for softness, for gentle curiosity, for the quiet comfort of learning while the rest of the world dims around you. Let your body ease into stillness. Let your breath soften. And let this slow-flowing story carry you closer to sleep. Imagine for a moment a time before the world was blue. A time before any ocean breathed, before any breeze carried the scent of salt, before water ever kissed the edge of a shore. Picture a universe wrapped in silence, its darkness stretching out like a vast, endless cradle. In that hush, tiny glimmers floated between the stars, the first fragile seeds of water, drifting like distant snowflakes made of cosmic frost. There were no rivers yet, no rain, no lakes, only hydrogen from the dawn of time, and oxygen born in the last bright breaths of dying stars, wandering alone through the cold. But slowly, with the grace of a dream unfolding, these lonely particles began to meet. They danced in slow collisions, touched gently, and bonded into the simplest, sweetest shape, H2O. And that quiet pairing, so small and unassuming, would someday become oceans, clouds, glaciers, bodies, memories, and the very glass of water resting beside your bed tonight. This is the story of how water came to be, how it shaped the world, how it shaped us, and how, even now, it moves through your breath as you drift deeper into rest. Before the earth had oceans, before its skies carried even a wisp of cloud, before any light shimmered on any surface, there was only space, vast, cold, and waiting. In that ancient stillness, hydrogen drifted freely, born in the first moments after the universe opened its eyes. It was simple, abundant, and patient, wandering through darkness for billions of years. Oxygen arrived later, forged in places of unimaginable heat. Inside the hearts of massive stars, fusion burned so fiercely that hydrogen atoms were pressed together, layer upon layer, forming heavier elements. And when those stars reached their final moments, they burst in spectacular supernovas, scattering oxygen across the cosmos like glowing seeds caught in a stellar wind. These two wandering elements, hydrogen and oxygen, were slow travelers. They moved through the universe not in straight lines, but in drifting spirals, pushed gently by gravity and starlight and time. When they met on icy grains of cosmic dust, their connection was delicate, a soft embrace in the cold. The first water molecules froze themselves into tiny crystals, little flecks of cosmic frost floating far from any world. Over ages, dust gathered into clumps. Clumps became rocks, and some rocks grew large enough to become travelers, of their own comets and asteroids, carrying frozen water deep within their cores. They roamed like icy messengers through the newborn solar system, sometimes wandering for millions of years before reaching a destination. And one day, long after the sun ignited and the planets spun into place, these icy wanderers found Earth. But the Earth they struck was nothing like the gentle world you know now. It was a storming, molten sphere, red with heat and wrapped in choking clouds. Fire burst from its crust. Thunder rolled endlessly through its skies. Lightning split the darkness again and again. It was a world in turmoil. And yet, somehow, it was ready. When comets and asteroids collided with this young planet, they shattered. Their icy hearts melted instantly, releasing ancient water that hissed and steamed as it met the glowing rock. Again and again, water arrived, falling from space, rising from within the earth, gathering in hollows and pooling in cracks as the world slowly cooled. Then came the rain. Not gentle showers, not fleeting storms, but rain that lasted for ages. Clouds thickened into endless gray veils, and water poured from the sky in currents so steady they seemed eternal. It fell on mountains, still forming on lava fields, cooling into stone on plains too hot to stand upon. And slowly, the planet softened under the touch of water, drop by drop. Hollows became lakes. Lakes merged into basins. Basins deepened into oceans. Their surfaces churned with heat and minerals swirling above hydrothermal vents that pulsed like the first quiet heartbeat of the world. In those warm, shadowed waters, something extraordinary began. The earliest whispers of life assembled there. Small, tentative shapes made of fragile molecules learning for the first time to hold together. Water cradled them, shielding them from the harshness of the young world. It carried nutrients to them, carried waste away, and most importantly, allowed the chemistry of life to begin its long and patient work. These first forms of life learned to gather sunlight to turn it gently into energy, and slowly, very slowly, they began to breathe oxygen into the sky. The air shifted from fumes and fire towards something softer, something blue, something living. Water had nurtured life, and now life began to change the water and sky in return. Across the ages, oceans stirred and continents cracked and drifted. Water carved its way through rock-shaping valleys, smoothing cliffs carrying tiny grains of sand across distances so vast they would take your breath away. It moved without hurry yet, with a certainty that reshaped the world again and again. Sometimes it froze, spreading across the land in shimmering sheets of ice that crept like enormous sleeping beasts. Glaciers polished mountains, deepened canyons, and left behind lakes where their footprints melted. Inland seas came and went, rising like slow breaths and then sinking back into the earth. Rivers wandered, changed course, disappeared, or returned, always searching for the easiest path downward, always finding their way to the sea. And through all these transformations, water remained patient, persistent, gentle, and powerful at once. Water's persistence carried the world forward, shaping not only the land, but the future waiting quietly upon it. And in time, after mountains rose, after winds softened, after oceans calmed, humans appeared. Small at first, fragile against the vastness of the world, but attentive, curious, and like all living things, drawn irresistibly to water. They followed its movements across the land, the way one might follow a quiet melody drifting through a forest. Wherever water lingered beneath the shade of trees, in the coolness of springs, along rivers that wove like silver threads through the earth, life became easier, safer, more abundant. And so people settled near its flow, letting their homes, their hopes, and their earlier stories gather around its reassuring presence. Imagine those first fires burning beside riverbanks, their reflections trembling upon the water's surface. Families gathered close by, listening to the crackle of wood and the steady whisper of the river. They drank from its edges, bathed in its slow-moving current, fished from its depths, and watched animals gather to sip from the same sacred pool. Water connected everything: creatures, plants, people, and early humans understood this truth deep in their bones. Water became a guide, a companion, a quiet guardian. As people wandered farther across plains and deserts, forests and mountains, they sought the same shimmer, the same promise. Springs hidden among stones, streams trickling from cliffs, rain pools gathered in hollows. They learned the feel of moist soil beneath their feet, the sound of distant rivers carried on the wind, the scent of green places where water waited unseen. Civilizations blossomed beside water, surely as flowers open beneath the sun. Along Egypt's Nile, farmers learned to read the rivers rising and falling as if it were a patient heartbeat. In Mesopotamia, the Tigris and Euphrates carried the silt that fed fields for generations. In China, the Yangtze and the Yellow River braided communities together, binding villages and cities in long, winding threads. Along India's Indus Valley wells and drainage channels hinted at a people who understood the comfort of clean, flowing water. Water shaped not just landscapes, but beliefs. It became sacred because it had always been essential. In quiet temples carved from stone, people poured water over statues to honor the divine. In rituals by moonlight, They stepped into rivers to wash away sorrow and illness. In stories passed from fireside to fireside, they imagined the world emerging from watery darkness, cradled by oceans. Before land rose through the surface, water was myth and medicine, danger and blessing. It gave life freely, yet it could just as easily take it away. Floods came without warning, sweeping through villages and uprooting everything in their path. Droughts left earth cracked and fields empty. Storms rolled in from distant seas, carrying waves that crashed over quiet shores. And still, humans returned to water again and again. They learned to listen to its moods, to predict its rhythms, to guide it gently through channels and ditches carved with patient hands. Wells sank deeper, reservoirs expanded, canals stitched farmlands together like threads in a vast tapestry of survival. But water carried secrets humans did not yet understand. Clear water was not always clean. Flowing water was not always safe. Invisible dangers drifted quietly within it. Tiny organisms that could steal health, steal strength, steal life. People boiled water over fires, filtered it through cloth, stored it in jars of fired clay, hoping to tame its hidden risks. And sometimes they succeeded. Sometimes they didn't. Still, water remained a companion, a teacher, a mirror. It showed them the sky when they looked down. It showed them themselves, blurred, gentle, distorted by ripples, yet undeniably there. As centuries passed and knowledge slowly deepened, people found ways to make water safer, clearer, kinder. Pipes carved from stone carried it into homes. Sand filtered the cloudiness away. In time, science added new layers of protection treatment plants, reservoirs, filtration systems built beneath cities, whispering with unseen currents. Today, water travels through a hidden world beneath your feet. It moves through tunnels lit only by faint glimmers, through filters that strain away impurities, through enormous metal chambers where chemicals neutralize the smallest threats. It flows from mountains to reservoirs, from reservoirs to pipes, from pipes to your home, until, with a simple gesture, it pours into your glass, clear, cool, and ready. This quiet magic, so ordinary, now took thousands of years to create. Generations of trial, generations of learning, generations of people who watched water closely, listened to its whispers, and understood that keeping it safe meant keeping life safe. And yet, even with all we've built, water reminds us of its power. Drought stretches across valleys once green, leaving soil dry and aching for rain. Fields crack beneath the sun. Reservoirs shrink into distant pools. The air grows warmer, lighter, thirstier, carrying moisture away before it can settle into the ground. In other places, Rain gathers too quickly, arriving in torrents that rivers cannot swallow fast enough. Floodwaters rise through streets, swallowing paths, bending trees, carrying fragments of daily life in their restless currents. Glaciers that once gleamed at mountaintops retreat farther each year. Their meltwater, ancient clear, runs swiftly downhill, joining rivers that swell beyond their banks. Seas creep higher, claimed by the slow warming of the world. Storms grow bolder, arriving with winds that howl through valleys and lash across coastlines. And through it all, water remains what it has always been: patient, persistent, resilient. It changes shape when it must. It freezes, melts, evaporates, returns. It adapts even when the world shifts beneath it. It forgives too, carrying away toxins, if given time, filtering itself through wetlands, purifying through motion and evaporation. It offers nourishment even after hardship, flowing again across fields that once baked dry, filling rivers that seemed forgotten. Water is older than the earth itself, older than mountains, older than oceans. Every drop carries stories written long before the first human opened their eyes. And those stories continue quietly, endlessly, moving through streams and seas, through pipes and clouds, through the cells of your own body. Tonight, as you lie here in soft stillness, the same ancient water that drifted through starlit dust passes gently within you. It flows through your breath, your blood, your thoughts. It settles into calm pools within your muscles. It rises and falls with the rhythm of your lungs, echoing the cycles of rain and tide. This ancient traveler has crossed the universe-shaped worlds, nurtured life, and touched the edges of stars. And now it rests with you as you continue to drift with the quiet rhythm of this story. Imagine water moving gently through time, never hurried, never lost, only transforming, only returning. From the vastness of space to the cradle of earth, from oceans to clouds, and back again, it has carried memories older than mountains, older than continents, older than breath itself. And in that long wandering water, learned to shape the world with a patient, almost tender persistence. Picture the slow approach of an ice age, one of many that swept across the planet. It didn't arrive with a sudden frost or a single snowfall. Instead, the world cooled little by little each year, stealing a little more warmth from the air. Snow that fell one winter didn't entirely melt the next. Layers built upon layers, packed tightly by their own weight, until they formed immense glacial bodies, brilliant and ancient, stretching toward the horizon like sleeping giants. These glaciers moved through so slowly, you would never notice if you stood beside one. their frozen mass crept forward, over centuries grinding stone into sand, reshaping valleys, polishing mountains, until they gleamed. Beneath their weight, the land bowed and shifted. Rivers diverted. Hills flattened. Lakes formed where once there had been only dry earth. And when the world warmed again, just as gradually, the ice softened. Meltwater trickled through cracks, gathered in gentle streams, and then poured down mountainsides in wide shimmering flows. Every drop that escaped the ancient ice carried a piece of the past, a trace of the cold world that had sculpted so much of the land we know today. These long breaths of freezing and thawing repeated across ages. Each cycle carved different shapes into different landscapes. A lake in one era, a valley in the next, a desert after that, and then perhaps a forest. Water remembered how to shape earth even when the earth forgot. It slipped through soil, carrying nutrients to roots that stretched upward toward the sun. It filled deep caves with slow-dripping formations of stone, growing stalactites and stalagmites like delicate, patient sculptures. It hollowed vast caverns that echoed with the quiet drip of centuries. It smoothed the curves of riverbeds, rounding stones into pebbles, pebbles into grains, grains into dust. Each one an echo of something larger. Water didn't rush. It simply kept going, even in places where it seemed absent. High deserts, silent canyons, ancient salt flats. You could still see its signature etched into the land, the faint memory of where rivers once flowed, where inland seas shimmered in the sun, where rain once fell in gentle curtains over green fields that have long since dried and cracked. And yet, water always found a way to return. Clouds drifted in from distant oceans, carrying moisture gathered from places unseen. They crossed mountains, spilled into valleys, and let their rain fall upon soil that had waited patiently for the sky to open. Seeds awakened, rivers revived, life exhaled, relieved. This cycle of movement, of returning, wasn't just a feature of the landscape. It became the quiet pulse of every living thing. Inside your own body, water repeats patterns that began millions of years before you were born. It flows through your cells, carrying minerals and energy. The same way rivers carry silt and sunlight across the land. It cushions your joints the way lakes soften the land. It cools your skin the way rain cools thirsty earth. It holds the shape of your thoughts within the gentle chemistry of your brain. The water within you is not metaphorically ancient. It is literally ancient. It is the same water that once slept inside glaciers, that once simmered in the early oceans, that once drifted as cosmic frost between distant stars. It flows in you now as effortlessly as it flowed through rivers that carved the first valleys, as softly as it once settled onto the surface of molten earth, cooling the world into something habitable, something possible. Water has always been a kind of storyteller, carrying the history of the planet. In tiny, silent parcels, atoms that do not disappear, only travel, only change. Every raindrop holds a past. Every breath you exhale carries moisture that will someday become part of a cloud, then a river, then perhaps a distant sea. The cycle never ends, it only transforms. Water has flowed through fish, swimming beneath ancient seas, through ferns on forgotten islands, through the trunks of towering trees that once shaded dinosaurs. It has fallen as snow onto ice sheets that cradled mammoths. It has risen as mist from jungles filled with creatures whose bones now sleep beneath the ground. It has traveled through the veins of every living being that ever walked, swam, or flew across the earth, and eventually it flowed through us. When humans began to shape the world, in return, water guided every step. It dictated where villages formed. It nourished fields where crops took root. It defined borders, carved paths, and connected people through rivers that doubled as highways for ideas, languages, and memories. Communities grew into cities where water took on new roles, filling wells that echoed with laughter, flowing through aqueducts that stretched across ancient empires, splashing in fountains built not just for necessity, but for beauty. It became part of daily rituals, the washing of hands, the sharing of tea, the blessing of bodies during moments of birth and mourning. Even in places where water seemed scarce, people found ways to coax it from the earth, digging deep into the ground, carving channels through rock-building systems that guided water with the precision of an artist's hand. In desert civilizations, step wells spiraled downward into cool, shadowed chambers, offering relief from the heat, and a reminder that water, though hidden, was never entirely gone. And still water changed. It carried stories both gentle and harsh. It brought abundance and sometimes destruction, but always it returned. As centuries passed, as cities rose and mountains eroded, people grew more attuned to water's subtle rhythms. They learned to measure its purity, to protect its sources, to carry it safely into homes where a simple turn of the wrist could release water clear and cool enough to drink without fear. But water's story was not finished. It never is. Around the world, climates shifted. Patterns that had been consistent for generations changed their rhythm. Some places grew hotter, their rainfall fading into memory. Crops struggled, rivers thinned, reservoirs sank lower. Other places felt the opposite floods that swept through with sudden startling force storms that gathered strength more quickly than they once had. Glaciers that had taken thousands of years to form melted with surprising speed. Seas edged higher, swallowing shorelines grain by grain. Forests that once shielded watersheds vanished. Wetlands dried. Some rivers failed to reach the ocean for the first time in history. Others surged beyond their banks. Yet, even in these shifts, water remained what it has always been: adaptable, cyclical, resilient. It changed its paths, but not its essence. It found new ways to move. It continued its silent work of sustaining the world, even as the world asked more of it than ever before. As you breathe in this moment, your lungs quietly rising and falling, imagine water doing the same, cycling through clouds and soil, through rivers and oceans, through every living being. Imagine it drifting through your thoughts like a soft tide, washing them clean, leaving only calm. You are part of the same journey water has been on since the dawn of time, a momentary resting place for something ancient, something patient, something endlessly returning. And as you drift deeper into this quiet space, you might feel that subtle truth settling around you, like mist settling on a still lake, like rain falling softly in the night. Water's journey continues, always shifting, always circling back in new forms. And as the world kept changing through ages of ice and warmth, through forests rising and falling, humanity's bond with water deepened in ways both practical and profoundly tender. Life did not simply depend on water. It grew around it, shaped by its rhythms, comforted by its presence. Imagine ancient wells carved stone by patient hands, leading downward into cool darkness. People lowered simple buckets, listening to the soft echo of rope against stone, the distant splash as the bucket broke the surface of hidden water. That sound, a quiet, hopeful sound, meant life, meant continuity, meant another season in which families, fields, and animals could flourish. Around these wells, communities gathered. Stories were told, friendships grew, songs drifted into warm evening air. In some places, wells were built not only for usefulness, but for beauty. Step wells in India spiraled into the earth with mesmerizing symmetry, their walls decorated with carvings and archways, their steps descending into shadow, where the air remained cool even on the hottest days. People didn't just fetch water there, they sat together in the quiet. They prayed, they rested. The boundary between practicality and reverence dissolved in those stone chambers, reminding everyone who descended that water was more than a resource. It was a refuge. In ancient Persia, Qanats stretched for miles beneath dry land, guiding water from distant mountains through gently sloping tunnels. Without pumps or engines, these narrow passages carried precious water to fields and towns, whispering beneath the earth long before anyone knew the science behind its flow. These hidden rivers were lifelines carved in the dark, cool enough to preserve water's purity, clever enough to sustain entire civilizations rooted in desert ground. Every culture found its own way to work with water, to respect it, to celebrate it. In Greece, fountains adorned public squares, their steady trickle offering comfort in the summer heat. In Rome, aqueducts rose gracefully across the landscape, carrying clean water over valleys and hills, with an elegance so enduring that many still stand today, patient under centuries of sun and rain. They served homes, baths, gardens, and gathering places, flowing water becoming not just functional, but communal. The Roman baths in particular glowed with warmth and steam. People arrived not only to wash, but to rest, to talk, to think. Water warmed their muscles, softened their mood, calmed their breath. In these spaces, the sound of water was its own kind of medicine. Gentle splashing, quiet dripping, the murmured conversations of people letting the day slip away. Even then, long before modern science would explain water's calming effect on the mind, humans understood its power to soothe. Across the world, water wasn't merely used, it was honored. Ritual baths cleansed not just the body, but the spirit. Rivers became sacred. The Ganges in India, the Nile in Egypt, the Jordan in the Middle East. A single river could carry the weight of belief for millions, flowing through myths and prayers as easily as through soil. Water connected the physical world with the spiritual one, reminding humanity of something deeper, something ancient, something shared. And with each generation, knowledge grew. People learned to channel water more precisely, to store it more safely, to respect its moods more carefully. They built dams of stone and earth. They dug channels to irrigate fields. They shaped ponds and reservoirs to gather rain in anticipation of dry seasons. Slowly, the art of managing water became a science. But even as humans grew wiser, water held mysteries they could not see. Microscopic dangers drifted silently within rivers and wells. Illness carried invisibly from one sip to the next. People tasted the sweetness of a clear spring, unaware that clarity alone could not guarantee safety. Some communities boiled their water, noticing it helped. Others filtered it through charcoal or cloth. They sensed the patterns, even if they could not name the cause. It wasn't until much later, after centuries of sickness, after cities had grown crowded and waste flowed too freely into rivers that humanity finally uncovered the truth. Tiny life forms, bacteria and microbes were the hidden companions of water, some harmless, some helpful, some dangerous. Knowing this changed everything. Water became something to protect with intention, to purify with care, to study with diligence. Cities built treatment plants. Engineers designed systems that would carry water safely into homes, ensuring that each drop was filtered, cleaned, made clear in ways the eye alone could never judge. Water transformed from a daily uncertainty into a daily comfort. Yet, even as water became more controlled, more understood, its magical quality remained. Showers that eased tired muscles, baths that quieted busy thoughts. The simple peace of watching raindrops race down a window pane. The way a glass of water could refresh not just the body, but something quieter, more internal. Something like the spirit. And still, water's journey was far from complete. In the natural world, the cycle continued with an elegance beyond human design. Warm sunlight touched oceans, lifting water into the sky as invisible vapor. This vapor traveled on the wind, cooling as it rose, gathering into clouds that drifted lazily or built into towering shapes. When the droplets became heavy enough, they fell sometimes as rain, sometimes as snow, sometimes as delicate mist that clung to leaves like silver pearls. Each drop that landed on the earth began a new path. Some trickled into streams. Some seeped into soil, nourishing roots and disappearing into the deep, quiet reservoirs within rock. Some evaporated again, almost immediately returning to the sky to try once more. Others traveled great distances, moving through rivers that carved canyons, sliding over stones worn smooth by centuries of touch. Even underground water moved with purpose, whispering through cracks and tunnels, gathering minerals, cooling the earth, shaping landscapes that remained unseen for ages. Springs bubbled up from hidden sources, offering cold, clear water to thirsty land. In wetter regions, wetlands formed vast sponges of life that filtered water gently, making it clean again through nothing more than plants, soil, and time. Every part of the cycle was quiet. Every part was essential. The world breathed through water, and you breathe with it, now your own lungs rising and falling the way waves rise and fall along a quiet shore. Inside you, water flows in loops just as elegant as rivers and rainfall. It carries warmth to your limbs, clarity to your thoughts, calm to your heartbeat. It supports your every moment, even when you are unaware of its presence. The water in you has known starlight. It has known oceans. It has known the softness of clouds and the weight of glaciers. It has traveled through the veins of the earth and the air above it. And now it moves through you in quiet collaboration, helping you rest, helping you heal, helping you simply exist. As you rest here, letting your breath slow, letting your body soften into the rhythm of stillness, imagine the entire planet as a single vast cycle of water, one endless loop of rising and falling, gathering and returning. You are part of that loop, a resting point for ancient molecules that have wandered longer than memory itself. In this moment, you and the earth breathe together. You and the oceans drift together. You and the clouds wait together, in softness, in quiet, in peace. Water continues its quiet journey, flowing not just through landscapes and skies, but through the unfolding story of humanity itself. As people learn to shape water, guiding it through carved channels, storing it in deep wells, drawing it into fountains and baths, they also learned to protect it, to study it, to trust it. This trust, however, was fragile. For most of human history, each sip of water carried uncertainty, a quiet gamble between nourishment and illness. A cup drawn from a clear stream might taste pure sparkling in the morning light, yet still hide unseen dangers. Even the calmest pool could shelter tiny organisms waiting silently within its depths. People didn't know about bacteria or parasites, but they sensed that water changed with the seasons, with the weather, with the habits of animals and humans who shared its banks. Some communities boiled water over fires, noticing it brought clarity. Others filtered it through woven cloth charcoal sand. They discovered purification by observation, trial, and intuition, early whispers of the science that would one day bloom. In ancient India, texts described resting water in copper vessels, exposing it to sunlight, filtering it through fine cloth. Egypt used alum to settle particles, drawing cloudiness downward in delicate clumps. These early methods worked more than people understood at the time. Sunlight as a natural disinfectant, copper an antimicrobial, alum as a clarifier. Without knowing why, they were glimpsing truths that modern chemistry would later illuminate. And yet, water remained unpredictable. Rivers that nourished fields could also carry sickness downstream. Wells could be contaminated without warning. Rain barrels could become home to invisible dangers. In medieval cities, where crowded streets and poor sanitation pressed close together, water's risks grew. Waste flowed into rivers that also served as drinking sources. Wells dug too close to latrines carried dangers upward. Entire communities suffered when their water sources turned foul. People began favoring beer and wine, not out of indulgence, but because brewing and fermenting made water safer without them knowing the reason. Even children drank weak beer as their primary source of hydration. Still, Water never stopped offering beauty. Even in difficult times, its presence calmed, cleansed, soothed. People continued to gather around it, pray beside it, trust it. As the world changed and cities grew, the dangers became harder to ignore. Outbreaks of cholera swept through urban centers. Communities suffered. But through this hardship, understanding began to deepen. Observers noticed patterns. Whole neighborhoods falling ill together, the link between sickness and proximity to certain pumps or wells. The invisible world inside water began to take shape in human imagination. Then came a turning point, quiet, simple, profound. A physician named John Snow studied an outbreak in London, mapping cases with gentle precision, noticing how they clustered around a single pump on Broad Street. When the pump handle was removed, the outbreak receded. He could not yet prove the microscopic cause, but he had revealed the truth that water could carry invisible agents of disease, and that protecting its purity could protect entire cities. From this moment, the story of water changed. Engineers began designing vast systems to separate waste from drinking supplies. Treatment plants rose near rivers and reservoirs using filtration, sedimentation, and later chlorination to ensure water reached homes clean and safe. Pipes were laid beneath streets, carrying water where it was needed with consistent purity. Aqueducts and fountains gave way to taps and faucets, small everyday miracles born of collective learning. Today, water flows beneath your feet in networks of pipes that form the quiet circulatory system of entire cities. It moves through treatment facilities where particles settle. Filters capture impurities, and disinfectants remove harmful microorganisms. Only then does it continue through underground corridors and into your home, arriving with a clarity so reliable it is easy to forget how much effort lies behind each drop. This modern comfort, this simple twist of the wrist that brings water to a sink or shower is the result of thousands of years of problem-solving, observation, and care. It is the culmination of humanity's long partnership with water, a partnership built on respect, challenge, and the understanding that water is both delicate and powerful. Yet even now, water's story is still unfolding. In some places, clean water remains a daily challenge. Communities walk miles to reach it. Children carry containers through heat and dust. Wells run dry. Springs shrink. The bond between people and water remains as urgent as ancient times, reminding the world that access to clean water is not just a convenience, it is a foundation of life. Innovations are rising to meet these challenges. Solar-powered pumps, rain harvesting systems, portable filters that purify water, drop by drop. Desalination plants that draw fresh water from the sea. Cities that recycle water gently, safely, returning it to the cycle with care. Human creativity continues to grow, weaving new solutions into the ancient tapestry of water's journey. And still, the natural world shapes water in its own timeless ways. The global cycle of evaporation, condensation, and rainfall continues unbroken, as delicate and dependable as breath. Water rises from oceans warmed by the sun, travels across continents as clouds falls as rain or snow, and moves across the land in rivers and streams. These patterns have repeated for billions of years, shaping ecosystems, feeding forests, carving cliffsides, and nourishing every plant that reaches upward toward the sky. When rain falls upon a leaf, some of it slides gently down into the soil, feeding roots that curl through the darkness. Some rises again as vapor in the warmth of day, drifting back toward the sky. Some travels through layers of rock and gravel to join aquifers, ancient reservoirs that sleep beneath the surface. And some continues onward to rivers that move with centuries of memory, carrying water toward lakes, seas, and distant coastlines. This cycle is vast, older than every story, older than every breath, and you are part of it. Every sip you take, every breath you exhale, every drop that leaves your skin as sweat or mist returns to the world. It becomes rainfall or ocean spray or the whisper of fog that curls through morning air. Your water becomes part of clouds, part of rivers, part of soil where seeds wait patiently for rain. You carry the cycle with you, quietly, effortlessly, just as it carries you. And through all this, water offers something else: peace, softness, a sense of stillness that flows deeper than explanation. When you listen to rain against a window, a quiet comfort awakens inside you. When you sit beside a river, something within you sinks into its rhythm. When waves lap gently at a shore, your breath finds a new, slower tempo. Water has a way of echoing the calm that lives beneath the surface of your mind, reminding you that stillness is always there waiting. Tonight, as you rest in this dreamlike moment, imagine water not just as a substance, but as a presence, a gentle traveler that has moved endlessly through time, through stars and storms, through oceans and clouds, through bodies and thoughts. It carries the memory of every place it has been, every shape it has taken, every life it has touched. You are one of those places now, a peaceful stop along water's infinite journey. For a moment, it flows through you. Then it will move on, carrying a small fragment of your story with it. Water's journey, like a long and gentle dream, continues to flow through every corner of the world, quietly, steadily, patiently. And as you follow its soft path deeper into this story, imagine the ways it weaves together. Every landscape every creature, every breath. From the smallest droplet clinging to a blade of grass at dawn to the wide sweep of the ocean, breathing under the moon water holds the entire planet in a slow, steady embrace. It rises from warm seas, drifts through the air as invisible vapor gathers into clouds that swell with promise, and then returns to earth in a rain that feels almost like a sigh. This endless motion is the earth's quiet pulse, a rhythm that has carried life through billions of years. And in this age, your age, water continues its ancient patterns, though the world around it has changed. Climate, once predictable across lifetimes, has begun to shift in ways both subtle and startling. Patterns of rainfall bend and reshape themselves. Seasons stretch or shrink. Some regions feel the sky close, withholding rain for weeks, months, sometimes years. Fields fade from green to brown. Rivers narrow and recede their stones, warming under unbroken sun. Reservoirs sink lower, exposing shorelines that have not seen daylight in decades. Elsewhere, water arrives too quickly, rushing down mountainsides in sudden torrents, filling streets with churning flows that sweep through cities that were never meant to carry such weight. Floods spread across plains, pooling in basements and bending trees, revealing how deeply water remembers its ancient paths, even when the modern world has forgotten. Glaciers, which once rested like frozen guardians on mountaintops, are retreating. Their meltwater runs swiftly into valleys, feeding rivers for now, but hinting at futures where those rivers may run thin. The sea is rising grain by grain, its edges reshaping coastlines, touching places where waves were once unknown. And storms gather with newfound energy, their rains heavier, their winds stronger, their presence more insistent. Yet through all these changes, water remains what it has always been, a force of transformation, a teacher of resilience, a reminder of both power and fragility. It adapts, it shifts, it endures, and humanity in turn learns to adapt with it. In many places, people are rediscovering the ancient practices of water harvesting, collecting rain in underground containers, storing it in cisterns, directing it into soil, where roots can drink deeply even after the rain has passed. Rooftops gather rainfall. Gardens channel it gently toward plants. Cities design systems that let water soak into parks and pathways instead of running away into distant drains. New technologies rise inspired by old ones. Solar-powered pumps draw water upward with the same reliability that ancient qanats once offered. Desalination transforms seawater into fresh water, though it asks much of the world's energy. Recycled water is cleaned to crystal clarity, its molecules returning to the cycle almost unchanged. Engineers and scientists work side by side, imagining ways to keep water flowing, not just for cities, but for forests, rivers, wetlands, and all the quiet lives that depend on them. Communities plant trees along rivers to anchor their banks, to shade their currents, to cool the air. Reservoirs are restored. Aquifers are replenished where possible. Wetlands once drained are allowed to fill again, with life becoming filters and sanctuaries for water as they had been for thousands of years. All of this, every new idea, every shared effort flows from one truth. Water connects everything. What happens upstream touches those downstream. What evaporates here may fall as rain on the other side of the world. Every choice, every action sends ripples through a cycle far larger than any single moment. Water, for all its movement, teaches patience. For all its softness, it teaches strength. For all its abundance, it teaches care. It has carved mountains, but it has also carved compassion, showing people again and again that survival, comfort, and peace all depend on something shared, something common, something ancient that disappears when taken for granted, but thrives when honored. And tonight, as you sink deeper into rest, imagine the water around you and within you settling into calm. Your breath grows slow. Your body softens. The water in your cells, the ancient traveler that once floated between stars, rests with you, now carrying a sense of ease through your muscles, cooling your thoughts like evening mist settling on a quiet lake. The water in your veins now may have once drifted through cosmic dust, may have once fallen as rain on ancient forests, may have slept as ice deep within glaciers older than history, may have filled rivers where early humans knelt to drink, may have flowed through the aqueducts of long-lost cities. And now it is here, a companion in your quietness. From cosmic frost to ocean waves, from life's first gentle stirrings to the glass beside your bed, water has traveled an endless path, circling through time with a softness deeper than memory. And this story, its story flows through you. You are part of its journey now, a place of stillness in its long, patient wanderings, a brief, peaceful stop in an odyssey that never ends. As your eyes grow heavier, as your breath finds its slow, rhythmic tide, let yourself drift with the ancient current of water's dream. Let it carry you gently towards sleep, for the journey continues always, rising and falling, wandering and returning, quiet as stars, soft as rain, endless as breath. Good night. May your dreams be cool, calm, and clear, like a quiet lake under starlight.